Hello, everyone. AI. In every single session, AI is being mentioned. So many things are happening with AI and around AI. Nvidia has been mentioned in almost every single topic in this conference. With OpenAI, with XAI, where is Nvidia? What Nvidia did? And how did we get here with all of these talks, the potential, the risks, the challenges of AI? Today, you will learn a few things. Where was and where is Nvidia among all of this? Is Nvidia powering the AI? And is AI a bubble? Like the session from Fahad, he shared a lot of interesting insights. You will learn a lot of things, not only about Nvidia, but also about the opportunity of AI, and also about the challenges and the risks, and how we in Nvidia are addressing all of those risks. But let's start with a story. Where was Nvidia? Where were we during this journey? The story began in 1995 when we invented the GPU. The GPU, when it was introduced, it introduced a revolution in computer graphics, in how humans would interact with computers, how they can visualize information, and how we can interact with the computing industry from that moment. And we started adopting, and the ecosystem started adopting the GPUs in so many different things, in energy, in finance, and then the computing power, the accelerated computing that we have invented within the GPU was based on the ability to process massive amounts of information in parallel in the same time. This power attracted a lot of scientists, engineers, beyond the graphics. In 2006, we created CUDA. CUDA sits in the heart of allowing everyone to do the processing on the GPU. We call it GPU, General Purpose GPU Programming. CUDA allowed almost everyone in the energy sector, in the finance, in the high-performance compute to do massive amounts of programming and processing for so much of amounts of data in the same time in parallel. This is what we have seen in reservoir simulation, in the subsurface simulation, fraud detection, fraud analytics, real-time processing. CUDA attracted also the attention of computer science researchers. And it took them about 6 years to get us into the first touch, the first contact with AI by implementing the first deep neural network for computer vision in 2012. Geoffrey Hinton, one of the fathers of AI, with his team of researchers, Alex Krzhevsky, among others, managed to create the first deep neural network that was able to learn how they can detect objects, how they can identify objects. This first implementation of deep neural network was the first touch with AI through Nvidia. With deep neural networks and with deep learning, we've managed to create models that can learn anything and everything in computer vision, in speech, in language. And while we were accelerating and helping the research society and community to do this, we've been also advancing our infrastructure, the GPUs. In 2016, we created the first system, the first supercomputer, the DGX-1. The DGX-1 had the processing power that was almost equivalent to 250 traditional CPU-based servers. Talk about sustainability, talk about efficiency, and talk about power. That was what the DGX-1 was capable of. One of those DGX-1s was given to a small startup with ambitious researchers called OpenAI. We have a very mature startup accelerator program called Nvidia Inception that we help accelerating those innovative startups with. Among OpenAI and other researchers, in 2017, just 1 year after the release of DGX-1, one of the most important research papers came to life. That's one of the most important research papers in our modern history. It's called Attention is All You Need. This research paper explained how we can build generative deep neural networks that can maintain context, that can maintain attention when it interacts with humans. The implementation of this paper started the birth of what we call large language models. The ability to train models on so big amounts of data so we can increase the level of intelligence of those models so they can maintain and answer our questions. In 2022, ChatGPT was born. ChatGPT was trained on 10,000 GPUs of A100. With the introduction of ChatGPT in 2022, that was a new birth of a new discipline, of a new era. We transformed from deep learning as a new discipline of AI into generative AI as a new discipline in AI. With this ability to be able to learn so much amount of data and to maintain consistency and attention while communicating and interacting with the models, this opened the door to so many new models, new ideas. The potential started to grow. And the ability to control this AI was also needed and was being introduced. All of this knowledge was being driven with NVIDIA's infrastructure, as well as also the ecosystem on top. Generative AI has become the new realm in 2022 with the introduction of ChatGPT, and then the introduction of so many open source models, large models, in computer vision, in speech, and in language. Models that can learn, can respond, can take actions, and can help executives make well-informed decisions. The ability to build on top of this ecosystem started to grow massively. Generative AI opened new potentials and new doors to solve problems that were completely unprecedented. The market that we're estimating based on generative AI applications is estimated at $100 trillion of business opportunity. And this is what we are just capturing. The opportunity in the Middle East and GCC is so big in agriculture, in smart city planning, in energy, in subsurface, reservoir simulations. The potential is immense. We innovated massively, not only with the GPUs. Our GPUs exist almost everywhere, from the smart cameras to the biggest brain of the brains that our partners are investing with. And we have also accelerated, in order to accelerate and enable those GPUs to do their job very well, we had also to innovate in the end-to-end ecosystem. Our networking acceleration has also massively increased. The latest networking acceleration and innovations that we have made allows us and allows the GPUs to process more than 130 terabytes of data per second. That's the ability to process the whole bandwidth of the internet, the global internet traffic, under one system. And this alone cannot work. The hardware alone cannot work. We had to build the ecosystem for it, from software, from frameworks, runtimes. And we have made almost all of our frameworks and runtimes and SDKs as open source so everyone can capture it, innovate, and build on top of it. Actually, only 25% of NVIDIA is working on the hardware. More than 75% of NVIDIA's engineering is working on the software platforms, the SDKs, and the frameworks and the runtimes that everyone else is using. From Microsoft, Oracle, AWS, all of the model builders, as well as also the small startups. I was so glad to see Altibbi. They're one of our startups that we're accelerating among so many others in the region. Our understanding of the challenges of adopting AI are very, very clear. Data sovereignty is very, very important. And when you bring AI on top of this data and the sovereignty requirements, AI is even more important. AI sovereignty is even more important. And that's why, with everything that you have seen in here, we have created the reference architecture of how to build an AI factory, and we have given this reference architecture to our partners so they can build their own sovereign AI platforms. With our infrastructure from GPUs and networking, as well as also the open software that we are backing from cybersecurity aspect, as well as also from performance optimization. What we are building in the region is factories of intelligence. These factories will help boost the internal economy of countries. They will increase jobs, and they will help organizations, they will help countries build and control and own their AI, just the same way that they want to control and govern their data. It's extremely important to also control your AI. AI, especially when it comes with its generative AI capabilities, is very, very important to the level that some nations consider it as a national security. We are building, as I said, AI factories. We partnered with Ooredoo to build an AI factory with every OPCO. Kuwait is also receiving GPUs in here, so they can build their AI factory. So the organizations and every single customer, every single university can start benefiting from here. Also, startups can start innovating with the AI factory. On top of this infrastructure and the hyperscaled infrastructure that is available, we are also providing the open end-to-end ecosystem. This ecosystem would allow every organization to use the generative AI models, not just the open source, but also the state-of-the-art models that we created, and we also open. One of the things, if any of you is not following what we have been releasing recently, we have created the state-of-the-art next generation of models. They're called the World Foundation models. These are large models that are trained with physics, and they are designed for the physical AI era. Is generative AI and AI a bubble? No, it's not. Because AI exists actually since the past 30 years. We have been pushing and we have pivoted since 30 years to AI. And this is actually the result of what you're seeing. The ecosystem, especially the open source aspect of the ecosystem, is actually crucial and very, very important to make sure that it's being advanced. The open source community is what is shaping where the industry is actually going. And we are actively working with the open source community. However, open source ecosystems always have certain challenges. The most important of all is the governance. How can you be sure that if there is an issue, that you will get supported? What Nvidia does is that we secure the open source ecosystem, and we patch the vulnerabilities, and we also provide all of those reports, and we optimize all of those models. This means if you pull the traditional open source model, you will get certain performance, and if you use the optimized version that we are securing and we're patching, you would get a magnitude of X. It can be 2X, 5X, and even sometimes 30X or 100X of performance. This means that the same model while Nvidia is providing the enterprise support for the organizations, the governance and the assurance for the sovereignty, you also have the assurance on the cost optimization. The magnitude of power that those single GPUs are slashing the traditional servers is also complemented with this ecosystem that comes on top. And this ecosystem, because we have been working with almost everyone in the industry, from the energy sector, healthcare, language, agriculture, governments, we have built the high-end platforms that can enable and empower everyone to build their own applications. That's why you would find us with always industry expertise across every single sector, from the fintechs, finance, insurance, energy, and smart cities, as well as also governments. Skilling and capacity building is very, very important. And this is one of the biggest challenges that we also observe in the region. That's why we have built, since very long time ago, the Deep Learning Institute. This is where we create and curate a lot of knowledge and a lot of courses to educate the ecosystem. And for this venue here, we're happy to share some free courses. Please scan the QR code, share those courses with the community, with the enthusiasts, and with those who want to learn the Nvidia way and how to build resilient AI and how to build successful AI. With that, I really look forward to collaborating with everyone in this ecosystem, and I look forward to collaborate with the Kuwaiti fintech and with the other industries. Thank you so much.